Hi, and welcome to Trace Trust Chat. Hey, Merrill.
Hello.
So, today we're going to be talking about something that is really important for new founders. And today we're talking about pitch decks. So, when founders are getting ready to start raising money for their business, one of the first things they start working on is their pitch deck. So, let's just start at the beginning. What is the purpose of the pitch deck and what does it include?
So a pitch deck is telling your story. And a basic pitch deck should not be more than 10 slides, really 8, right? Because you have a title and you have an ending that says thank you and how you can reach me. Your title is who you are and about your business, what it does, what expertise, influence, experience do you and your team have. The next one is the problem you are solving for. How big is that problem? Why are you solving it? You just need to lay the groundwork for what you do and why you do it. And so that's the next slide. What is the solution that you're providing? Who is your persona, right? Are you an innovator? Is this something that doesn't even exist today? Are you a disruptor, meaning there's a current category and your way is really going to, be a game changer to the whole thing? Or are you a refiner? There's something already out there and you just know how to make it better and improve upon something. So with that in mind, how does your solution solve the problem? And how does it work, right? How does a customer get it? How do they use it? And then you need the next slide of the market. Where does this fit in the marketplace? Is there even a market for it? Who your competitors are? And the potential market penetration, right? How are you going to make an impact and really draw people to what you're doing? And then the next is success and differentiation. So are you already in the market, right? Are you already doing something? Can you show what traction you already have? And you still want to demonstrate in that how your solution is differentiating from what else is out there. Why you're making, what you're seeing so far and how much progress you've made. And then you have one slide to talk about the business and revenue model. How will you make money? How do you make money? When will you be profitable? And are you already profitable and looking to expand, right? You want to demonstrate that you have an understanding about your numbers. And then the most important slide is the ask. And it needs to be very clear, right? How much money are you asking for? And how are you evaluating your company over time? And what did you use to calculate that? Just because you think it's worth, $500 million doesn't really mean it's worth $500 million, right? So you have to be able to defend that. And then the next slide after that, which is equally as important, is what are you going to do with the money? The use of funds, right? And you need to be very specific in this and you need to be able to defend it. And then the last one, as I said, is just the thank you slide and how to reach me and welcoming questions. So a 10-slide deck should fit between 3 and 7 minutes of time if you're presenting it.
So that's great for the 3 to 7 minutes, but what about for shorter 1 or 2 minute presentations? 10 slides seems like it's too much. So what should they do for shorter presentations?
So between those 8 slides, you need to find the 5 slides that are most important, and that depends on your audience. So you're going to have to address it differently, but always include who you are, what you do, the problem you're solving for, and how your solution is different and where it fits in the marketplace, and how much you're asking for and why, the use of funds. 2 more slides that you could have, depending on the audience, is your previous success and where you are in profitability and revenue. So a little bit more depth around the numbers on that and the customer. And then the investor audience, pitch slams, right? So they would like to see market penetration and they also want to see a little bit about your team, right? So earlier in those fast slides, it's just like, hey, I am this person, here's my company, here's the problem solving, right? If I have more time, I can maybe tell you, here's why I'm an influencer, here's the team that I've assembled. And you don't necessarily have that when it's less than 3 minutes.
So what about when you have a longer amount of time, like 15 minutes or more?
So now you get the opportunity for you to really dig into more of the business opportunities, really now explaining why this, your solution, why your product, whatever is going to really make a difference and how it's making a difference. So you get more time for that, and you get more time to talk about these financial projections, where how do you get revenue? How much does it cost to create that revenue? And then where the profitability sits in that. It also allows you, and this is really important, especially for tech and software, is you can embed a short video. And this really shows, with technology, how it's used and gives you a little bit few points. But in other products, it's also the beauty shots. Here's our beautiful supply chain. Here's, our happy little workers, right? Whatever the story is, it gives you that opportunity to do so. It gives you more time to dig into the use of funds and managing your runway. Your runway is how long is this money going to last? And then how are you addressing potential uncertainties or disruptions? This is really important. They want to see that if you have a mindset for problem solving, that you anticipate some of the obstacles and risk management issues that could arise as you go through this. And that is something that people want to see when they're entrusting you with their money, right? They want to see that you have the ability, that if things aren't working, you know how to think through what's going to change that.
So what about how it looks? How important is the design and the look of the slides?
Well, we know that people love to spend lots of money on designers making everything look beautiful, but that's kind of only a part of it and not necessarily something that you need to do. You can do beautiful things with a variety of different softwares, including just the basic templates that are available. Most importantly is that the branding and color themes are consistent and cohesive throughout the presentation. So the colors aren't changing, the font isn't changing on every slide. It's very clear, and that it's easy to read on any screen, right? Because we all know that we're not always sitting, with a big screen in front of us. It has to be able to something that you can scroll through on your phone. So you also want to make sure that you're using contrast between the text and the background so that it's easy to read. You need to think about font size as well, so that no matter what screen it is somewhat readable, particularly if you're not going to have a lot of text on there. Reduce the text anyway in less words. You don't want people reading. You want
Right.
people watching you.
Right. This is why you are giving the presentation.
Exactly.
But sometimes you do email your deck. So do you email the same deck that you use for your presentation?
This is where I may allow you to have an extra couple of slides in there. And it's only because now somebody's kind of scrolling through at their own leisure and you're not there talking about it. So they might need a little bit more text and background than you would have had you just, been presenting your 10 slides. So you can have just a little extra for that. But if it is a cold call, right? Somebody that, 6 degrees of separation, third reference on a LinkedIn that you're reaching out to, you want to be able to have a slide deck that's only 4 to 5 teasers to get them interested. But it's really important that this does not contain any confidential information, and you most likely would not put an ask in there of any kind. If there is an ask, it's more about, I understand you might, be interested in companies like this, or I, saw you speak here or read an article that you wrote, and you just want to try to engage in a way that is more introductory and just kind of a little bit about who you are, what you're doing, and why they might be interested in that.
So this was a great introduction to why you need to have multiple slide decks for your pitch. Let's give folks a quick recap.
Right. So the reason that you have multiple decks is you need to address a variety of different audiences, and you're going to have different time constraints. So you have to really take that into consideration. And then you want to make sure that your deck always quickly tells people who you are and what you do, the problem you're solving for and the solution you have and how it differentiates from anything else in the marketplace. And you also want to let people know how much you're asking for and how you're going to use that money, and most importantly, how to contact you. And then you're going to have a shorter teaser deck that doesn't have your confidential information, that can be shared publicly, and that really gets you to the point of getting a little further introduction with somebody so that they might be interested in what you're doing.
So this was a great intro to getting your decks ready, but if you feel like you need support with this or any other part of your pitch preparation, feel free to reach out to us here on LinkedIn or at our website, tracetrust.com. Great chatting with you, Merril.